Well, good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, and I just got in from doing chores, and my face is frozen, and my fingers, I don't know if you can tell in this lighting how cold, how red my fingers are. It is only 17 degrees outside today, and I had to obviously pound ice out of water bowls and everything. I had gloves on, but not enough apparently because I'm freezing. Well, I was in the middle of filming that clip and Olivia came in and I thought we still had a half hour. I can never keep the days straight. One morning she goes at 9 o'clock. I have to leave at 9 o'clock. Another morning she has to leave at 9:30. And I thought today was a 9:30 day and it was actually a 9 o'clock day. So I'm out here warming the car up and yeah. So I will finish chatting with you when I get back from taking Olivia to school. So did you see what was happening when I was driving home? Ooh. There was just a tiny little skiff of snow when I went out and did chores, but then it started snowing pretty good when I was coming home from taking Olivia to school. It's still coming down, but not very fast or hard. I don't think we're gonna get much here. Further north of us, they've gotten quite a bit. In fact, the town where Scott works has got, I don't know how many, just a couple inches, maybe or an inch. So yeah, it's a little bit unseasonable for this time of year to be having such bitter cold. It's not too unusual to get snow, but it's been a lot of years since we've had a typical winter, like the winters that I had growing up. We had a lot of snow when I was a kid. In fact, more often than not, we'd have a white Christmas, but in the last, I don't know, 25 years probably, we've had very mild winters for the most part. We've had a few bad ones here and there, but for the most part, we've had really mild winters. So I expect that trend to change again. Because it happens, it goes in trends. It's very cyclical, how the weather is. So every year I think, oh, it's going to be a bad one this year, and so far they've been very mild. But Anyway, I'm just really thankful that all of our animals, our outside animals, have really cozy, snug places to be out of this weather. Of course, Bo comes in the house, and then Chicken Cat, she has been staying inside the chicken coop again. I know this is controversial, but when it gets really cold like this, we do have heat lights for the chickens. Some people say don't ever do it. It's, hazardous, blah, blah, blah. We check the lights every season before we turn them on. We make sure everything is in working order. We clean everything because dust on the bulbs can cause fires. And we have them securely attached to the ceiling so that the chickens cannot accidentally knock them over. So we are aware there are dangers involved in heat lights, but we have taken precautions and we have chosen to use them only when it's really super bitter cold. Anything higher than like 20 degrees, we don't turn them on. But when it gets to be like today, it's like 17 with a wind chill in the negatives, we turn it on for them. So they've got that, and the Chicken Cat goes in there, and it's nice and toasty in there. I mean, their water pans still had ice on top of it this morning, but it wasn't like frozen solid. And she just has a nice cozy, it's out of the wind, and she curls up underneath those heat lights, and she has a nice cozy place to be. And then of course, Half Pint, she's in the garage and has a heat mat in there, and she's been spending a lot of time on that heat mat. And then of course our ducks, they are built for this kind of weather. They're totally insulated. We did give them a nice big bed of straw to burrow down into, but just to keep them off the the frozen ground, but they do fantastic. I mean, ducks are amazing creatures. So yeah, all of our animals are snug, and I'm very, very thankful for that. Dealing with those frozen ice pans are the worst thing about winter. If we could figure out a way to keep those pans from freezing, like I know you can buy heated pans, but that's not really convenient. As far as like the ducks go, there's no way that we could heat their water because they have so much water. So it's just a thing we have to deal with in the wintertime, and we know it. Every year we hate it, but we do know it's coming. So we're prepared for it. And then my boys are just being lazy here in the house. There's Oliver. Percy is over there. He's been pretty good. Percy's been pretty good about not messing with the decorations. I don't have my animated snowman under the tree this year, and I knew he wouldn't leave him alone. And why put something there to tempt him, just to get him in trouble? I did just catch him a minute ago. He got an ornament off the tree and had it outside. Now, I caught it soon enough that he didn't tear it up, and I really scolded him hard for that. So hopefully, and he was looking very sheepish, like he knew he did something wrong. So hopefully he will learn to leave things alone. But I've been quite surprised. I was afraid that we were going to have to put a fence, like a pet fence around the tree, because I was really afraid he wasn't going to leave him alone. And all the other decorations I have, I don't have anything down low for him. Everything else is up on my furniture and basically out of his reach. I kept that in mind when I was decorating this year. It's like I knew he doesn't have a whole lot of self-control, and I didn't want him to get in trouble over and over and over again because I was stupid and left things down where he could get a hold of them. On the other hand, he does need to learn to leave things alone. So that's why on the tree, I still decorated. I put some things down low. Now, if it was precious to me, an ornament that was precious, and I would be very, very upset if he tore it up, they're up higher on the tree where he can't mess with them. It's kind of like dealing with a toddler. You don't want to completely you want to leave enough out there for them to learn to leave things alone, but you don't want to leave your precious things out there that if they got broken, you'd be really upset. So dealing with a beagle who's, how old is he now? 15 months? Yeah, he's 15 months old. It's like dealing with a toddler. Absolutely like dealing with a toddler. So, anyway, what do I have on plans today? I'm planning on today, the only thing I still need to decorate is I need to get my Christmas village put up in my bedroom. So I'm going to work on that today. I'll bring you along for that. And then the only thing left we have of turkey from Thanksgiving is in the freezer. We put the carcass and all of like the juice and the drippings from the pan. We put those in the freezer. And it is such a horrible cold day today that I'm going to get that carcass out and I'm going to cook it down and I'm going to make some turkey orzo soup. So I'll bring you along for that as well. Right now I am finishing up my coffee and I'm going to do my Bible reading for today, and then I will pick a poem to read to you guys out of my Ideals Christmas Memories book. So let me get to that point and then I'll bring you back. For my devotions this month, I'm doing this little devotions book. I think I got it at Ollie's. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure that's where I got it. And so I read in my Bible, and my reading schedule, I'm actually in the book of Luke, which is pretty appropriate for this time of year. I think the people who figured out the reading schedule probably did that on purpose. But I'm also reading these little short devotions out of this little book, and I thought today's devotion was super appropriate for today, and it's titled Pure as New Snow. It's December 5th, Pure as New Snow. It's just really short, and I thought I would read it to you guys because I really, really liked it. And then I'm going to read this short little poem out of my Christmas Memory Lane book. Okay, so the scripture reference is 1 Peter 1:18 and 19. You were ransomed with the precious blood of Christ, like that of a lamb without blemish or spot. What is your first thought when snow falls for the first time each year? For many of us, our instinct is to rush outside and gather that fresh, pure snow, bring it inside, and add a little vanilla, milk, and sugar. If done correctly, the end result is a winter treat known as snow cream. Just as a side note, I have never had snow cream. If by chance you are not familiar with snow cream, there is really only one hard and fast rule. Only the purest snow will do. Just say no to snow with spots or blemishes. All throughout the Old Testament, people sought purity, to be made clean as new snow. The psalmist pleaded to God, "Purify me from my sins, and I will be clean. Wash me, and I will be whiter than snow." Psalm 51:7. God's people made sacrifices in an attempt to be right with Him. They would offer lambs, doves, or whatever the law prescribed for their situation. The problem was that these offerings were only temporary because the animals were imperfect sacrifices. Another sacrifice would soon be needed to cover new sins. A pure offering wasn't available. Fortunately, God always had a plan for the redemption of His people, and it involved a pure and perfect sacrifice, His Son. Christ was not just a precious baby. He was the Lamb without spot or blemish. He came to be the sacrifice once and for all, because only the purest offering would suffice to make us right with God. This Christmas, let's remember why He came and give our thanks to Him. The cradle was always about the cross. As we think about Jesus as a baby, let's not be afraid to look ahead to His purpose in coming. Christ came because only the purest sacrifice would do. I just love that. I love that so much. And then on the next page, it has this little prayer. Jesus, thank you for being the perfect sacrifice. Thank you for doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. I just thought that was really, really great, and I wanted to share it with you. So then tomorrow will be an ordinary Christmas. I don't know what that story's about, but we will see. And then the poem out of the Ideals book, I wanted to choose a short one because I knew I was going to be reading that devotion. I wasn't planning to read that devotion until I read it for myself, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. So anyway, An Old Country Church by P.F. Freeman. There's an old country church way back in memory that I never expect to visit again, but I'll never forget it. The church in the valley where the old and the young for Christmas would rally. There was always a tree and candles aglow to cast a shadow on the glistening snow, as a good old Santa dressed in his best would find a present for every guest. I still seem to hear the bell that would ring, and a message of good tidings its tolling would bring, as in sleighs filled with straw, and from miles around came gay country folks in answer to its sound. 'Twas there at the church that true friendships were born, surviving many holidays that have passed and gone, as good folks join together to frolic and play, and be happy and cheerful on a Christmas day. We didn't really do much of that in the church where I grew up. We didn't put up a Christmas tree, and we didn't have a Santa come, but we did have special events and things to celebrate Christmas. And the church that we attend now, we do have a Christmas tree. Santa doesn't come, but we have a Christmas tree, and we have a special Christmas service. This year it's on the 22nd, and then we'll have a meal afterwards together, and yeah, and there's lots of other little Christmas things going on with our church. So yeah, I love this time of year. I just love this time of year. And speaking of things that are going on at our church, this is not put together by our church. It's put together by another group. But our church is going to go, as some of the people are going to go, to Bethlehem Revisited on Saturday. It's like a living nativity, or you walk through. We went to it last year, and I shared some of the footage then. So we're planning on going. Scott and I are going. Olivia is planning to go with us this year. Travis isn't interested, so he's going to stay home. But it's supposed to be pretty chilly, not as cold as today, thank goodness. I don't remember what the temperature was last year. It was pretty balmy, actually, for December. So this year it's going to be quite a bit colder. I'm thinking about wearing my coveralls that I wear when I do chores when it's super cold. But we'll see about that. So anyway, I will try to take some pictures or some video. It's so hard because it's really dark. It's outside, and it's almost like a 1.5 mile walk. And so really the only lighting are the campfires. So it's kind of difficult to take video that comes out decent, but where I can, I will try. So, and I will share that with you guys in one of my vlogs next week. But anyway, yeah, we're doing that this Saturday. And then next Sunday, the 15th, we're having a little Christmas party for the kids that I teach for Sunday school. And then, like I said, on the 22nd, we're going to have our church Christmas program with a meal afterward. And so there's going to be a lot of opportunities to get together with our church family and have a lot of fun. And I'm really looking forward to it. I really love my church family. They are about the sweetest people you could ever meet. And I just love spending time with them. So looking forward to a really fun and busy next 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my coffee, and in a little bit I am going to go in there and get started on putting my Christmas village up. Like I said, that's the last little bit I need to get done in decorating the house, and so I'm going to get that done. I'll bring you guys along with me. I thought before I get started on my Christmas village, I better get those turkey bones going on the stove. And of course, if you know me, if you know, you know, this is the state of my counter. Always, always, always a problem. I took these last night for my contribution for the our meal. On Wednesday nights we have a meal together before Bible study, and I just haven't been too. I have been too busy to make anything, and so that's the reason why I bought these. It's like a quick and easy thing I can take for different get-togethers. And I had one this morning with my coffee, and I just need to put these in a little bag so I can throw this box away. But they were a hit. Everybody loved them. They are so good. They really, really are. I got these from Aldi. If you have an Aldi in your area, they have these at Christmas time, and they are really delicious. Gingerbread with dark chocolate covered, and there's no dairy in them. So anyway, that's what this is all about. And then the rest of this is just, some of this stuff needs to go downstairs. I just haven't made it downstairs with it yet. Dishes that I used at Thanksgiving that need to go downstairs. So let's go ahead and get this counter cleaned off so I can get my chicken or my turkey carcass going. This was on the counter, and it reminded me that I wanted to share this with you guys. Our little girl, Sally, our little Doxy, died. As many of you know, most of you know, if you're new to my channel, she died of congestive heart failure in May, actually on Olivia's birthday. She died peacefully here at home, and it was like, I mean, you're going to lose your pets. Eventually they die. She was very old. She was almost 16. And she had been sick for quite a while and on a lot of medication. And she went to bed and didn't wake up. And it was very sad, of course. But anyway, I was getting her medication, her heart medication, from Chewy.com. And I could have sworn I notified them back in May. I know I told them to stop sending me her medicine. Like I canceled the subscribe and save or whatever it's called. But I got a notification a couple weeks ago by email that I needed to go on and review Sally's medication because her prescription was about to run out, to get a new prescription. And so I was like, that's weird. And then like the same exact time, I got a birthday card for her in the mail because her birthday was in November. So obviously they did not get the memo that she had gone over the Rainbow Bridge. So you can live chat with them. So I got on with the representative and I told her, I need to have her prescription removed, and that I had gotten this birthday card, and that she had passed away in May. So they took care of that all for me. They're very, very, very good about that. And then yesterday in the mail, I got this little gift from Chewy.com in remembrance of Sally. They sent this little card, and on the envelope they had my name written, so it was like someone actually took the time to write it. And it says, "Dear Cheryl, our hearts go out to you during this difficult time. Saying goodbye to such an amazing companion is never easy. We hope the memories you shared with Sally bring you comfort and remain in your heart forever. With love, Brittany and your Chewy family." And so that I had this card, and then they sent this little remembrance thing. I have it over where I have all my dog's ashes. So let me show you what they sent. They sent this painted rock. And so I stuck it right here. This is Sally's ashes. There's Sally. If you guys didn't know, I know I have a few new subscribers. That's my Sally girl. This is my Lucy. She was our first Doxy, and if she was still alive, she'd be 21. She died when she was 15. She had kidney failure. And Chewy.com sent me flowers, a dozen roses, when she passed away. because I had to notify them she was on subcutaneous fluid that we had to give to her twice a day. And we got the fluid from Chewy.com because it was cheaper. And so when I called, or when I contacted them to stop the subscription, or the prescription, because it was a prescription, stop her prescription, they sent me a dozen roses, which I was completely blown away by. And then here's little Miss Sally. And then this is my girl Pepper. She died 3 months before Lucy. Pepper died, and she was young. She was only 7, but she had a terrible, terrible, terrible skin cancer. And it was just, she was covered in tumors. It was horrible. And so we had to have her put to sleep. But Chewy didn't send me anything for her because she was not on any prescriptions. So they didn't know anything about my Pepper girl, but she died. They died within 3 months of each other. And then Sally, she just died this year. And so they sent me this. I thought that was so sweet. And that's Lucy's ashes there. And they sent a paw print. We got paw prints from when they were cremated. So there's Pepper's paw prints and her ashes. If you have pets, I highly recommend Chewy.com for all of your pet supplies. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you because many of you have been with me for years and have known my girls and grieved with me when they all passed away. And so I just wanted to share that. So let's get back to cleaning that countertop off. Got the turkey carcass in the pot and it's frozen. And then this is all the juice that was in the bottom and it's frozen too. I put it in the microwave just for a little bit to kind of get it loosened. And I'm just gonna flop it. Am I gonna flop it in there? Let me see what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna have to bust this up a little bit to get it in there. And then I'm gonna put it on to the heat, and once all the broth is like defrosted down, I'm gonna add some onion, not all of this onion, and some bay leaves, and I'm just gonna let it cook for a while. I'm gonna let it simmer for a while. So let me see what I can do to get this block of ice at least chunked up in a couple of pieces so that I can fit it down in this pot. I think just using a knife and kind of slicing it is gonna work. I'm surprised there's not hardly any fat on the top of it. I was afraid I was gonna have to skim a bunch of fat off of it, but there's not really much fat on it at all. Now, once this cooks for a while, I will, of course, take all the bones off of the carcass, or take the meat off the bones, I should say. And then I will strain this because, as you can see, that is rosemary. I like to throw fresh rosemary in my poultry when I'm cooking, like whether I'm cooking a chicken or a turkey or whatever. And so those are in there, and I'll strain all of the weeds, as Scott calls them, out of the broth. And this will be a nice clear broth when it gets all done. Now I'm gonna, obviously I'm not gonna be able to put the lid on this. But it won't take long for it to cook down, so I'm not worried about it. I'll just kind of do the lid like that, and then it'll cook itself down. So let me get this on the stove. All right, it's been maybe 20 minutes, and as you can see, it's all melted down and it's boiling. So I'm going to add in these huge chunks of onion so that I can pick them out later. And then several bay leaves that are really crumbled up. My bay leaves I'm at the bottom of my jar and they're really crumbly, but it's perfect to use for this because I'm going to strain this broth anyway. And so then I'm going to go ahead and add some more water, basically to cover, or mostly cover, that carcass. And put the lid back on it and just let this cook for a couple hours. Edna's going, that's why you hear that noise. Alright, it is time to get these shelves done. You can still hear Edna in the background, but she's got her work cut out for her these days because of all of the glitter all over the floor. So anyway, I've got to take everything off of these two shelves. You can only see the bottom shelf currently, but I'm going to get these all off of here. Got to wipe them down because they're dusty. And then I'm going to get my Christmas village up here. It's a Wonderful Life village. My friend Kim sent those to me a few years ago, and I really like them. I have a lot of friends named Kim. I thought about that the other day. I know of at least 4 Kims in my life, and I know there's more than that, but I know at least 4 Kims that I've met just through YouTube. So anyway, she has a YouTube channel, Kim's Country Corner, and so you can check her out. She does like homesteading and stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna get this stuff off of here. I've got a box in here to put this stuff in. And this was a DIY I did a few years ago. And of course, that's the state of Indiana in the heart. That's approximately where I live in Indiana. This is Lake Michigan up here. So we typically don't get the lake effect snow. It usually goes like up higher, but sometimes we'll get some lake effect snow. It seems like when I was a kid, we would get a lot more lake effect snow. And that's maybe why we had snowier winters then. But I don't know. The wind patterns have changed or something. And so we don't get the lake effect snow hardly anymore. So that's one shelf down. So I've got this new pack of snow, faux snow. The snow I used last year was getting pretty worn out. So I've had it for years and years. So I decided I should invest in a new snow blanket. Now this is going to be obviously more than I need, but I think I'm going to double it up because it's pretty thin. You can see through it pretty well. So let me get this all cut and on the shelves, and then I'll bring you back. So I put the new down, and then when I was going through my box, I found the old one that I used last year, and I remembered that I had kind of scalloped the edge, and I like that look. So I went ahead and just put the old one on top of the new one, and it still makes it look freshened up because that one I had was a fairly thin layer. So I'm going to get all of my buildings out here in this box. I'm going to get everything out and unpackaged, and then I'll start setting the buildings up there and we'll get it all decorated. So here is Goward's Drugs. This is where George worked when he was a boy. The hardest thing about getting this village up here is to get all the lighting situated and figured out. Here's their house. I can't remember what it was called, the old something house. And it's 320 was the number on the house. It was the house that they were breaking windows out of. It was an old abandoned house. Here is the Bailey Building and Loan. Kind of the star of the show, really. Bailey Building and Loan, they were spending the entire movie trying to save this old building, this business. George had to give up going to college and traveling. He wanted to travel the world and he didn't get to do any of it. And he was pretty bummed out about it until he finally realized he was rich. Even though he wasn't monetarily rich, he was rich in the things that mattered, and he finally was content. On the top shelf, I'm going to put martinis. They're still in the box there. That's the only building I have left. Martinis, and then the police car, and stuff like that. So let me get all that stuff unpacked. I can't remember how I had this done last year. I might put Gower Drugs up on the top shelf too, because I have 4 big buildings and then the police car and the taxi cab. So in order to even this out a little bit, maybe I'll put Gower Drugs up at the top and move the Building and Loan over a little bit. So let me get this figured out, get everything in place, and then I'll bring you back when I start to add the finishing touches. That car did not come with the set, but it's about the same size as the police car and the taxi cab, so I like to include it. And then I also have this horse and buggy, which I don't know if it's going to fit on here this year. Maybe I'll put the police car down here by the taxi cab. So I'm going to go ahead and add a few trees. Here it is, all done. There is nothing I can do about these cords. I mean, I can maybe try to, yeah, there's really nothing I can do about these cords. They are what they are. It is what it is. This is not a professional building or anything. It's just my regular home. So just try to ignore those. If you have an idea of how I can hide them, I would appreciate it. I mean, if I had a really tall faux tree, I could maybe put it back there, but I don't. So anyway, it's all done. Yay! So now, other than just tweaking a few things, which I'll probably do the entire time my decor is up, I am officially done with decorating. So as you saw, I have the bones taken off, the meat taken off the bones. I strained the broth. I am going to add some carrot. Oh, this might be too much carrot. I'm just going to put that much in for now. And then I'm going to add some more chicken broth to this. Start with 2 cans of chicken broth. I think that's probably all the broth I really need. Might add just a little bit of water because that bone broth really kind of got concentrated. Thank you. And then I'm going to add some garlic. I'm not going to add any more onion because I had onion in the with the bones. Travis is not a huge fan of onions, so I'm not going to add any. But I am going to add quite a bit of garlic. Big heaping spoon of garlic. Now I'm going to let this cook for a little bit till those carrots are about half tender. And you know what? I think I'm just gonna, let me see what the, yeah, I think that's enough carrot. So we're gonna let this cook. Let the carrots get soft. All right, I just tasted the carrots and they are tender. They're not like mushy or anything. So I'm going to add some of this orzo to it. I also need to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. So we'll just let this cook for about 9 minutes and the orzo will be tender and it will be ready to eat. And this is where I'm going to go ahead and end this video today. This soup was delicious. It was absolutely perfect for this cold day that we had today. And there is enough for me to have lunch tomorrow, probably lunch for a couple of days. It was absolutely delicious. This was another one of those long vlogs. Sometimes I just can't help it, and most of the time my vlogs are over 40 minutes. So I'm glad you guys will enjoy long vlogs. All right, friends, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here and let you go, and we will see you on Monday. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below, and we'll see you all later. Have a great weekend, friends. Bye-bye.